Hello, welcome to Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. Leaked audio recordings of House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy looking to calm the rhetoric from his side of the aisle and even getting Donald Trump to resign as a result of what happened at the Capitol on January 6th were leaked. In addition, there have also been more texts from Republican legislators urging the Trump White House to get the protesters to stop and leave the Capitol that day. Republicans have become very boring if none of the texts they sent that day featured dick pics sent to their mistresses. Marjorie Taylor Greene testified at a hearing to determine if her possible involvement in the events of January 6th means she's ineligible to run for re-election. Remarkably, it wasn't classified as an attempted terrorist attack, as Marjorie Taylor Greene swearing to tell the truth would result in a lightning bolt hitting the courthouse. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan tweeted that he was against the idea of canceling student loan debt. So now he's in favor of fucking college students in two ways. Oh. Baltimore and Washington, D.C. are among two of the cities looking to hold World Cup matches. If you think about it, thanks to the Orioles and Nationals, a game where the home team scores very little or not at all is perfect for Baltimore and D.C. in the summertime. Kim Kardashian caught hell for posting a pic that made it look like her belly button was airbrushed out of the photo. She may have had her pants pulled up over her navel, to be fair, thus starting the trend of dressing like you're 70 years old. Weather in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic portions of the United States continues to fluctuate. It must be easy to live in a place like Southern California where they have one long season, eternal hellfire and damnation. On a serious note, it really does seem like they've had the one season out there, whereas here on the East Coast, in the past few months, we've had like 80. And now on with the show. Please join me in welcoming Jeff Hysen, Abby Mello, and Davine Ker.
Hey.
Welcome.
Everyone, welcome. So how's everyone doing this week?
Well, I already told you guys our big news, which is that after 2+ years of avoiding COVID, I have not tested positive yet, but someone else in my household has. So it's been kind of a bummer. And we don't know where we got it, or where it came into our lives, but it might have been jury duty for Greg last week, because apparently they aren't requiring masks anymore and most people weren't wearing them. So fun times.
Yuck.
I thought everything's supposed to be over.
Right. Yeah. Right. As cases are skyrocketing. And now everybody that I know that was like super careful for 2 years is just like left and right getting it.
Not on this podcast. It's not over. Like other comedy designated podcasts. It's supposed to be.
So we just can't will it to be over because we're sick of it.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
I like how in our little group chat that we had before the show, like we all gave each other like advice, like, don't cough on the screen. We should all wear masks while we're doing this. And then secondary was just asking if Abby was okay. It's like, I've trained all you guys well.
The show must go on.
Davine, how about yourself?
Well, it's Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month starting since yesterday. And ironically, that same day, somebody posted a post about how it's a whole diverse production and it includes everybody in every culture, but there was not one single Asian comedian listed in that list on the first day of AAPI of Heritage Month. So I was a little pissed off about that today, but it's okay. I'll just be like a good Asian and keep it all inside and swallow my bitterness.
Until you come on a show like this, in which case, just let it rip, please.
All right.
Think of all the educational achievement that will inspire for you, Davine. I mean, got to channel all that energy into something.
Jeff, how about yourself?
I'm pretty excited about that bridge that they are planning on adding to take people over the bay toward the eastern shore. I'm sure that won't cause any new traffic, but in about 10 years, it'll be great. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think any opportunities for people to, flee the cities, as my ancestors have, to try and create a life for themselves will automatically be thwarted by overpopulation, to the point where it's already gotten to the point where people want me to sign petitions to stop growth in our particular community. I'm like, okay, well, how long have you lived here? And they said, no, well, they'll say, I've been here about 5-10 years. Like, meanwhile, I live in the same house my grandfather's purchased in 1953. So, like, I'm of the perspective that, like, if you weren't here in 1997, you should get the hell out. At which point, I think a lot of the people on the Eastern Shore there's gonna be a small portion of them that are gonna start turning into, well, me.
Is it haunted? It sounds scary.
They're going to turn into you. They should only be so lucky.
With his recent purchase, Elon Musk will successfully do something that I didn't think was possible: make Twitter more toxic. One of the things Elon Musk said he was going to do was work harder to chase bots off Twitter. Given his past practices at running Tesla, he means he's just going to let other users hurl racial epithets at them until they get fed up and leave. Joining us tonight to discuss Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter and the fallout that could bring, please welcome Anna Phillips.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Welcome to the show. We're certainly happy to have you. So what are your thoughts on Elon Musk purchasing Twitter?
Well, I'm glad that you asked me, Tom, because I had to remember which rich person that was. Honestly, I mean, like Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, they're all the same to me. I don't want to know how much money they have or who's the richest, because I will like start daydreaming about robbing them. Like,
it's not a bad daydream to have, obviously. I mean,
it's not healthy though. But no, Twitter, like, I mean, I think he just wants to like do whatever he wants. So he's just basically like Trump did. Trump wanted to do whatever he wanted illegally or whatever. So he had to become president so he could like do whatever he wanted. So Elon Musk doesn't want to be banned from Twitter. So, I mean, he's rich enough to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to have to buy you. So that's kind of gangster.
Yeah. I mean, forget like giving people health care, feeding them or anything. I mean, yeah, go ahead and take over an entire virtual town square. Now, my thing is a lot of comedian friends, which just kind of shocks me. The fact that, they're sort of happy about the fact that someone with billions of dollars just go ahead and blow is taking over this, like thinking that it's gonna be great. Like a lot of voices that have been quote unquote silenced in the past are gonna be coming back, like not knowing that that could inadvertently maybe result in them being silenced, like having some sort of like unintended consequences. Like if you do like one. I think the fear is that if you do like one Elon Musk joke, like his ego is so fragile. Like this is a guy who canceled like Tesla orders for famous people who criticized him. Like
does a drone come down and slap you and then just fly away? Like, is that what happens if you criticize him on Twitter now?
He's so petty.
Right. I mean, is there a possibility that something like that could happen in terms of like what could happen with Twitter?
Oh, I mean, it's a possibility. It's ridiculous though. Like I'm not like for it. I'm not one of those comedians who's like, yes, this is a good thing. And I think it's because I'm not afraid to be canceled, because I've canceled myself like 5 years ago because I couldn't deal with the stress of anticipating it. So I just canceled myself. So like, and these other comedians, like maybe you want to say something that isn't appropriate, but it's not really about comedians. Hopefully he'll let comedians say whatever they want, but how about like, white supremacists and stuff like that? Whereas like before, maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't think that would matter. Free speech is cool, but now you got people driving to DC to go to a pizza parlor and look for, so like, I don't even know where I stand, but it's dangerous. He's like Donald Trump in Twitter. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't like it. I'm suspicious.
I feel like whoever is most excited about like an incredibly privileged, white man from South Africa having, control over speech, whoever those people are, I don't want them to have more speech.
I think the first thing he's going to do is remove the ban off of the former guy and others like him, to just simply to send his middle finger to quote unquote the libs, to show he can do it. and he won't be thinking about what they've said or if it was appropriate or factual. He's doing this for his ego. And one of the people I blame for this is Lauren Michaels, for letting this son of a bitch host Saturday Night Live, because it showed him that he is above being rich, that he's a personality. And so he's using that to further his brand, further his name, and he doesn't give a crap about the consequences.
Yeah, you know what? He reminds me of? Like a man with a lot of money.
Could have just left off the a lot of money part.
I mean, but like men will do that, but not all of them can buy Twitter. So, See, and if you're trying to cancel me about being reverse sexist, which is not a thing, I'm already canceled. I just want to let you know that.
Well, this is the show to be reverse sexist on. So welcome, Anna.
Oh, well, in that case.
Most men, when they spend all that money, it's always like, you spend that much to be less sexy. Like my husband with a PS5, like.
Is this the first time you guys are outnumbered, or has there been another time?
I guess not.
Yeah, no one can remember apparently. I guess I don't know.
So outnumbered which way?
For more women than men on the panel.
I think that happened the show that you missed, but that one doesn't count.
I think
it was
there's only been,
traumatic.
I think 3 of these we've done where it's just been mostly men on the panel.
But Anna,
they weren't that good episodes. They weren't that good episodes.
I'm sorry, Tom, for interrupting. But Anna, you talk about cancellation and someone being canceled. I don't think that's a real thing, because if you can take out your dick and jerk it in front of women and win best comedy album, and if you can say the N-word and get caught on video and then sell millions of albums and win entertainer after entertainer award, number one after number one, I don't think it's a real thing.
I mean, I think it is a real thing when it's convenient for people. So it's not applied equally, just like everything else. You could also kill Black people on camera and get away with it. So that's like not even a really real point. But I see what you're saying. It's just like, but a man in charge of something like Twitter, where other people who are like crazy can just like get together and say whatever they want and be like, hey, meet me on the corner of Walmart and Walmart so we can kill Asian people or something, or transgender people. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's only trying to get rid of bots, like not crazy people. I'm scared.
Can he buy VH1 so I can watch music video clips again?
That would be productive.
and all of that, and we still don't have any edit button on Twitter. I'm waiting.
Oh my God. You know what? I mean, honestly, it's kind of like when those stimulus checks first came during COVID, like I was kind of like, I hate Trump. But then when I got that first check, I was like, he all right. I mean, you got to hear both sides. So if he do something to Twitter that makes it benefit me, then I'm going to have to reassess my opinion on it, obviously. I'm like, he means well.
Money talks.
My thought on Musk allowing people like, Donald Trump, Roger Stone, Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene back on Twitter is, I personally, maybe I'm a cockeyed optimist here, I don't think something like that will happen, because there was that culture at Twitter, especially after January 6th, where a lot of the people who worked at Twitter, like the content moderators and everything, they were pushing Jack Dorsey for months to go ahead and take Donald Trump off of Twitter, because he kept tweeting COVID misinformation and false election stuff. And when it culminated into the attack on the Capitol, that was sort of the final straw. So, I mean, am I being too much of an optimist to think that those kind of figures won't be back on?
You are. I mean, I don't know. I don't keep up with Elon Musk everyday activities, but has he changed his opinion about COVID? Like, is it real to him or what? Because I mean, why wouldn't he let Trump or somebody like that back on if he has? I know he don't like him, but I mean, he has crazy ideas too, and like he supported Kanye West. That's dangerous. Anybody who support Kanye West scares me.
One thing we've seen from him over the past few weeks is his baiting of people on the left by saying, I used to be here. I voted for Obama, and I was left of center. But now the libs are more extreme than they were. So I'm all the way on the right, as if one side is acting the same as the other side. One side is storming the Capitol and trying to overturn lawful votes, and the other side isn't. But he's saying that the liberal side is becoming more extreme, and I think that shows where he's headed.
But according to that graphic, though, the years 2008 to 2021 don't exist. That's what you don't understand.
Good point.
Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe he'll like erase everything until now, you know? Then no one can go back 10 years and look at a bad tweet, and then we'll all start fresh, you know? Like maybe he'll do that, but
given my
snooty
Twitter
bastard.
history, I would love that.
You know what he does to the Tesla users? If you accidentally activate your self-driving mode, it charges you like $10,000 extra without your consent.
what?
Because I own a Tesla, and I was driving and I made a wrong turn and it changed you. Stop it. I do it for environmental. I got the cheap one that people snob, okay? I'm doing it to really,
Oh man,
I
Elon
didn't get the
Musk in the
money.
building.
I saw his face. People give me that look too. I don't know why my neighbors are all like, Davine, my husband bought a Tesla, but not like yours, not the cheap shit. And I'm like, what is that? Oh, so uncalled for, But what I'm trying to say is I was changing lane and the car moved me because it has sensor. And I did not add that built-in, the self-driving, but if it activates it too much, it bills you on your credit card because it's directly linked. And that's $10,000, like boom. And they can't say anything about it. It's part of their disclaimer. They can just milk your money like that.
Are you telling me that you got charged $10,000?
Not me, not yet, but I'm worried about it.
Okay. Woo. I was about to say, we need to kill Elon Musk. He must die. Oh, this is recorded. Never mind. I was just kidding. Obviously, I make.
To be
jokes.
fair, that's the bit that's going for the Patreon people. So if people really want to,
Good. Yeah. No
And-
more. No, I'm
and
not.
trust
I
me-
don't need to say any more violence about it. Like,
not,
that's all I had.
I don't have enough subscribers to get that to be like one of the conservative voices happy about Elon Musk's buying Twitter is Ben Shapiro. And in this clip, it's no secret about what he wants Musk to do with this new acquisition.
When Musk takes over the company, he should do what every boss at every company does, and he should review the employee list and figure out who is good and who is bad, not purely on the basis of politics, but on the basis of performance. And the good news is many of these employees are already sounding off on Elon Musk, and they've given him good excuse to fire them. And then finally, and this is the most important thing, Musk needs to come in and he needs to fire everyone. I mean everyone. Twitter has hundreds, if not thousands, of employees. There have been studies done of the donations, the political donations of the people working at Twitter. 98.7% of all donations from the people working at Twitter went to Democrats in the last election cycle. 98.7%. So it doesn't matter what rules Elon Musk sets top down if the so-called Twitter deep state is still implementing its favored policies.
I mean, this is in the same episode. So he's basically just advocating like two completely different sets of employment criteria in the same episode. Like, well, yes, if they have good performance reviews, they should go ahead and stay. But you could have a perfect record. But if you contribute to Democrats, like in Ben Shapiro's mind, that should be cause for Musk to fire him. I mean, it is a dichotomy, and I can kind of relate to that because like I'm against violence, yet I believe that Ben Shapiro should get punched in the face.
How many people is he talking about? 98% of the people should be fired. How many is that?
He said there's hundreds, not thousands of employees. So I don't know. But Jeff, do you know, can you explain to me? I feel like you're the one that would know this. How is it? Are they culling people's like, how do they know that where these employees are donating their political money to?
Campaign contributions over a certain amount are public record.
Okay, so only if it's open. And then, so they're basically stalking employees of Twitter.
Yes, and I think he's making this number up. I don't think he's looked it up. I don't think he's done the research, but it's not like conservative media is big on facts. So he can say it and people are going to believe it.
But also, are they located? Sorry, I clearly know absolutely nothing. I mean, if they're located in Southern California, the chances are that everybody there is, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like saying like a place with, a bunch of employees who live in DC is like shockingly liberal. And it's like, yeah, because DC is super, I don't know. It just like there feels like there's some stuff missing out of this equation that would maybe paint a more full picture if we knew more information.
He's also profiling, which is probably not a big surprise, but if he said everybody in San Diego is okay, but not anybody in Los Angeles, that he'd be getting the same point across. And he's over characterizing by zip code. It's horrible what he said.
I mean, and Donald Trump used to contribute to Democratic candidates all the time before he ran for president. It was just the nature of, he lived in New York, and in New York City, Democrats pretty much reign supreme there. I mean, if anything, it's just people in that kind of situation, they're really hedging their bets. It's like when you look up records and you see, at least in where I am, like if there's a business, say an auto dealership, they'll give to like a gubernatorial candidate of one party, and then they'll go ahead and contribute an equal amount to a candidate of the other party. So it sounds kind of sleazy, but I mean, for their own business interests, they're just protecting their own spine. And I should note that contributions, at least on the local and state level, like any amount, you can go and look up whoever contributed what dollar amount, whether it's as low as $1 or as high as like 2,400 or whatever the local maximum allowed donation is.
That poor intern who had to cross-reference hundreds of employees, spreadsheets of hundreds of employees with their.
I don't think he's going to like really regulate anybody on there. It's going to be like the Wild Wild West, but I don't think he's going to try to get rid of Democrats or conservatives or anybody, because he's not a politician. He's a businessman. Like the more money, the merrier. Like I don't think he's going to like go after specific groups, but I could be wrong. He is a man.
The eccentricity of Elon Musk is nothing new, as seen in this CNN clip from 1999.
Some could interpret purchasing this car as behavior characteristic of a materialistic brat. That's the engine.
And are you?
No, I'm not. It comes with its own set of luggage, actually. Or at least, it's not consistent with the rest of my behavior. I expect to receive a car that I've just bought, which is called the McLaren F1. There are 62 McLarens in the world, and I will own one of them.
It's $1 million for a car. It's decadent.
Back in '95, there weren't very many people on the internet, and certainly nobody was making any money at all. Most people thought the internet was going to be a fad. Wow, I can't believe it's actually here. It's pretty wild, man. This is definitely very cool. I like it a lot.
Congratulations.
Just 3 years ago, I was showering at the Y and sleeping on the office floor. And now, obviously I've got a $1 million car and quite a few creature comforts. It's just a moment in my life.
I mean, what strikes me about that clip is, I mean, you can go back and watch the clip online. He's more excited about the car than he is about his fiance trying to hug him. I mean, I'm surprised, like, he even has a family now, because just from that video and from his other interviews, I just believe that he had no genitalia. It's almost like his parents like created their own little Ken doll, and like they summoned some demon to bring him to life.
Have you ever touched a McLaren? I'm sorry. This is like, when you touch that car, it touches you back. Okay. That's all.
Yeah, but
When the McLaren touches you, Davine, does it ask for permission first?
Of course it does. But what I'm saying is the McLaren is so sexy, I would be single till the end of time if I had one. Okay. Like, I don't need anything anymore. I'll just ride that car. It's amazing. I've touched one and I still have goosebumps from it.
Wow.
That is probably like the nicest defense of Elon Musk I've ever heard.
Not him, the car. Elon
Yeah.
Musk is not McLaren. McLaren's. I'm defending.
What was that CNN story supposed to be about? Like tune in at 7:20, rich guy shows off expensive car, fiance slightly jealous. Like what's the headline here? Why do I care about that?
Oh, I don't think anybody cares about that in 2022. I don't know how old that video is, but probably back, like back then, $1 million car was probably like a big deal. And so people were like, oh, wow, look at this person. I don't know. Some people might have said idiot. Some people were like impressive capitalist. I don't know. But like either way, it probably when it happened, because he looks much younger than that thing. So
Yeah, he
it's
looks
probably
12 though.
Yeah, it was in 1999. And that was when I think it sort of like really eccentric cars came into being. And then that was when it was before the tech bubble burst. So I think he was one of the people in tech. So it was like anything that they did, like if they bought, like if they went out and bought Cantaloupe or something, like it made the top of the headline news on HLN. It was a different time then.
a sad time.
The very public disaster behind Donald Trump's new social media platform, Truth Social, is no secret. Much like the public disaster behind the creation of the actual site itself and the public disaster of its creator. As we can see in this clip from his recent rally in Ohio.
But they were confused and they conspired to ban me from every social media platform on the face of the earth. Millions and millions of you had already experienced big tech's vicious censorship. Because of this digital tyranny, we had to give the American people their voice back by building something called Truth Social. And I think Truth Social is going to do well. It's moving along nicely.
It's got to be like really bad when, you know, the founder of the site like doesn't even take the time to pronounce it correctly. I mean, he'd be better off just saying like, yeah, just come here, look at this shit that I created. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, you know.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because he was concentrating so hard on pronouncing digital tyranny. Like, you know, like that. He had memorized things. Like, he forgot to remember the name of the company, though.
Like, don't say Tyrannosaurus again. Not Tyrannosaurus.
No Coveve either.
I just want to point out that press conference was in the most boring sounding place in the United States that I've ever seen. Delaware, Ohio.
Damn. You insulted 2 states at once. That was impressive. Elon Musk would let you tweet that.
And on that note, that's our show. I want to thank Jeff Hysen, Abby Mello, Davine Ker, and Anna Phillips.
Thank you. Thank you.
But before we go, my final thought. We really are living in a world where the future is uncertain. Norms to which we have become accustomed are changing quite alarmingly and without warning. For example, testimony about Amber Heard has done something I never thought was possible. Make Johnny Depp look normal. People are now giving Amber Heard crap, pun intended, about her defecating in bed. They don't realize that there are people out there who are just dying so they can shit their beds in peace.
Oh.
If anything, think of Amber Heard as being ahead of her time. Good night. This episode was written and hosted by Tom Myers with panelists Jeff Hysen, Abby Mello, and Davine Ker, and guest Anna Phillips. Theme music by Jeroen van den Herik. Executive producers Tom Myers, Matt Connarton for ipmNation, and Eddie Carson for Odyssey Radio. Thank you for listening, and please visit tommyers.us.